Stress has become an unwelcome companion in our lives, lurking in crowded bars, hidden behind prescription bottles, and echoing in the late-night scrolling that keeps us awake. It's a relentless cycle: work pressures, financial burdens, and the constant demand to keep up. We often find ourselves searching for quick relief, turning to substances that promise an escape but can lead us down a darker path. Think about it. After a long day, how many of us have reached for a drink to unwind? Or perhaps a pill to take the edge off? It's easy to see why so many fall into this cycle. Stress is everywhere, and the allure of immediate relief can be overwhelming. But what happens when that relief becomes a crutch? Substance abuse is not just a personal struggle. It's a societal issue that affects millions. The connection between stress and substance use is profound. When we're overwhelmed, our brains crave anything that can provide comfort, even if it's temporary. This behavior can spiral, leading to dependency and a host of health issues. Why do we allow ourselves to get trapped in this cycle? It's often a combination of societal pressures, the stigma around mental health, and a lack of accessible resources for healthier coping mechanisms. Many feel they have no choice but to turn to substances, believing it's the only way to manage their stress. But there are healthier alternatives. Mindfulness practices, exercise, and open conversations about mental health can create a supportive environment. Seeking help from professionals can also provide the tools needed to break free from this cycle. We need to shift the narrative around stress and substance use. Instead of viewing substances as a solution, we should focus on building resilience and finding sustainable ways to cope. It's time to prioritize our mental well-being and recognize that we don't have to navigate this alone. The journey to healthier coping mechanisms starts with understanding the root of our stress and making conscious choices that uplift us rather than drag us down. Stress is a powerful force in our lives, often pushing us to seek relief in ways that can be harmful. When we experience stress, our bodies activate the fight-or-flight response. This is a primal reaction designed to help us survive immediate threats. But in our modern world, that stress often comes from work pressures, personal challenges, or societal expectations, and the release valve we turn to can be substances like alcohol, nicotine, or opioids. Imagine this. After a long day at work, you pour yourself a glass of wine. It feels like a reward, a way to unwind. Or perhaps you take a pill to help you sleep, hoping to escape the chaos of the day. Initially, these substances provide a sense of calm, a temporary relief from the overwhelming demands of life. This is because they trigger the release of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. It's a quick fix, a momentary escape. But here's the catch: that relief is short-lived. The effects wear off, and soon, the stress returns, often feeling even more intense than before. This cycle can lead to a dangerous craving for more. Studies show that over 40% of people with high stress levels report turning to alcohol or drugs to cope. It's a troubling statistic that highlights how common this struggle is. What starts as a simple glass of wine or a few pills can spiral into something much more serious. Dependency sneaks up on you, often disguised as a coping mechanism. You might think, I just need this to get through the night. But before you know it, that need becomes a habit. The substances that once offered relief can start to control your life, leading to a cycle of reliance that's hard to break. That it's essential to recognize this pattern. Understanding the stress-substance connection is the first step toward finding healthier coping strategies. Instead of reaching for a drink or a pill, consider alternatives like exercise, meditation, or talking to a friend. These methods may not provide the immediate relief that substances do, but they build resilience over time. Breaking the cycle is not easy, but it's possible. Acknowledging the role of stress in our lives and how we respond to it can empower us to make better choices. Remember, it's about finding balance and seeking support when needed. The journey to healthier coping mechanisms starts with awareness and a commitment to change. Alcohol has become the go-to escape for so many of us, especially in a society that glorifies drinking as a social norm. Think about it. How often do we hear phrases like, "let's grab drinks after work," or see the rise of wine mom culture? It's almost as if we've collectively agreed that alcohol is the answer to our stress, our celebrations, and even our loneliness. But let's take a moment to unpack this. While it might seem harmless to unwind with a drink after a long day, The reality is that alcohol is the most common substance people turn to when coping with stress in the US. It's everywhere, at parties, office happy hours, and even those quiet, lonely nights when we just want to escape our thoughts. Yet, what many don't realize is that this frequent drinking can lead to some serious consequences. Over time, our bodies develop a tolerance, meaning we need more and more to feel the same effects. This can spiral into a dangerous cycle. The liver, our body's detoxifier, takes a hit with every drink. It's not just about feeling good in the moment. It's about the long-term damage we're doing to ourselves. And let's talk about mental health. Many people turn to alcohol to alleviate feelings of sadness or anxiety. But the irony is that it often worsens these very issues. It's a temporary escape that can lead to a deeper pit of depression. The statistics are staggering. About 1 in 8 American adults meet the criteria for alcohol use disorder. That's a significant number, and it's a wake-up call for all of us that we need to start questioning this normalization of drinking. Is it really helping us cope, or is it just a socially accepted way to avoid dealing with our problems? It's time to rethink our relationship with alcohol and recognize that there are healthier ways to manage stress and connect with others. Finding joy and solace in activities that don't involve a drink can be liberating. Whether it's engaging in a hobby, exercising, or simply having a meaningful conversation, there are countless alternatives that can provide genuine fulfillment without the risks associated with alcohol. So, the next time you reach for that drink, pause and consider what you're really seeking. Is it a momentary escape, or is it a deeper connection with yourself and those around you? Let's challenge the narrative and create a culture that values true well-being over temporary relief. I remember the first time I took a painkiller after surgery. It felt like a warm blanket, easing my pain and anxiety. But soon, that relief turned into a crutch. Just one more to calm my racing thoughts, to escape the stress of daily life. I thought I was in control, but I wasn't. The opioid crisis is real. Over 80,000 lives lost to overdose in 2023 alone. What started as a legitimate prescription spiraled into something I never expected. Misuse often begins with a simple desire for relief, but it can quickly escalate, trapping you in a cycle that's hard to break. It's late at night, and I find myself wandering through dark alleys, the city alive with the pulse of parties and the hum of isolation. It's a strange juxtaposition, people laughing, dancing, while others sit alone, lost in their thoughts. In this world, illicit drugs become a common thread, weaving through the fabric of our lives, often seen as a means of escape or a source of stimulation. Take cocaine, for instance. It's not just a party drug, it's a quick fix for those feeling overwhelmed. The rush it provides can feel like a lifeline when the weight of the world is pressing down. But that high is fleeting, and soon enough, reality crashes back in, often harder than before. Then there's meth, an insidious substance that promises energy and focus, but ultimately leaves destruction in its wake. It's a siren song for those exhausted from the relentless grind of life. And let's not forget heroin. It's the dark side of this narrative, a seductive escape that can pull someone into a spiral of despair. The allure of numbness is powerful, especially when life feels unbearable. For many, it's a way to silence the chaos, to find a moment of peace in a world that feels anything but. But what about the college students? They're caught in a different kind of pressure. The academic race is brutal, and many turn to Adderall or other stimulants, convinced that they need these drugs to keep up. It's a slippery slope. What starts as a performance enhancer can quickly morph into a dependency. The line blurs, and before they know it, they're not just chasing grades. They're chasing a high that comes with its own set of consequences. The irony is palpable. We're told to push harder, achieve more, but at what cost? The very substances that promise to help us succeed can lead to a darker path. It's a cycle that feeds on stress, exhaustion, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. So, we find ourselves in this paradox, seeking relief from stress through substances that often create more problems than they solve. It's a dance with danger, and many don't realize they're stepping on a tightrope until it's too late. The thrill of the high can quickly turn into the despair of addiction, leaving lives shattered in its wake. In the end, it's a reminder that while the allure of these drugs may seem tempting, the reality is far more complex. The search for relief can lead us down paths we never intended to take, and understanding that is crucial. We need to find healthier ways to cope with stress, to seek support, and to recognize that we're not alone in this struggle. The journey may be tough, but it's one worth taking. Without the crutch of illicit substances, stress can feel like an unending cycle, a relentless loop that pulls you deeper into its grip. You wake up, and the weight of the world is already pressing down on you. Work, relationships, bills, everything feels overwhelming. In those moments, it's tempting to reach for something to numb the pain. A drink, a pill, maybe even something stronger. It's a quick escape, a temporary relief that feels like a warm blanket on a cold night. But here's the harsh truth. That relief is just a mirage. The substances we turn to might dull the edges of our emotions for a while, but they don't solve the underlying issues. Instead, they often make things worse. Anxiety creeps back in, depression tightens its grip, and suddenly, that moment of relief becomes a catalyst for more problems. Financial stress piles up as you spend money on substances instead of essentials. Health issues arise, and the cycle tightens its hold. It's a vicious cycle. Stress leads to substance use, which offers temporary relief but ultimately brings consequences. Those consequences, whether they're health-related, financial, or emotional, only add to the stress. You find yourself trapped, feeling ashamed and isolated, convinced that asking for help is a sign of weakness. But it's not. It's a step toward breaking free. Many of us feel this way, caught in a loop that seems impossible to escape. The shame can be suffocating, making it harder to reach out. But the truth is, you're not alone. There's a way out, and it starts with acknowledging the cycle. Recognizing that while substances may offer a fleeting escape, they don't provide a solution. Breaking this cycle requires courage. It means facing the stress head-on, seeking healthier coping mechanisms, and finding support. Whether it's talking to a friend, a therapist, or joining a support group, taking that first step can be daunting, but it's essential. Remember, the path to healing isn't linear. There will be ups and downs, but every step you take toward breaking the cycle is a step toward reclaiming your life. You deserve to feel whole again, to experience joy without the shadow of substances looming over you. It's time to break free from the cycle and find a healthier way to cope with stress. Every day, I see the weight of social and economic pressures bearing down on people. Bills pile up, inflation creeps higher, and layoffs become a grim reality. It's like a storm cloud hanging over us, and for many, it feels impossible to escape. Parents are caught in a relentless juggling act, trying to balance work and childcare, often sacrificing their own well-being in the process. As costs rise, job security feels like a distant memory. The anxiety of making ends meet can be overwhelming. It's no wonder that many turn to substances as a way to cope. When the world feels heavy, reaching for a drink or something stronger can seem like the only option. But this isn't just about individual choices. It's a reflection of a deeper systemic issue. In some communities, drinking or drug use becomes the default coping mechanism. It's a way to numb the pain of daily struggles, a temporary escape from the harsh realities of life. But this coping culture doesn't just affect individuals. It seeps into families, friendships, and entire neighborhoods. It creates a cycle that's hard to break, where reliance on substances becomes normalized. And let's talk about mental health. The lack of affordable mental health care is a crisis in itself. People are left to fend for themselves, often feeling isolated and alone. When support systems fail, it's easy to see why someone might turn to alcohol or drugs. It's not just about personal weakness. It's about a society that hasn't prioritized mental health. We need to recognize that addiction is often a symptom of larger societal failures. It's about the pressures we face daily, the lack of resources, and the stigma that surrounds seeking help. We must advocate for change, for better access to mental health services, and for a culture that encourages open conversations about struggles rather than silence. It's time to shift the narrative. Instead of viewing addiction as a personal failing, we should see it as a call to action. We need to address the root causes: economic instability, lack of support, and the overwhelming burden of loneliness. Only then can we begin to create a healthier society where people feel empowered to seek help and find healthier ways to cope. I want to talk about healthier coping strategies that can transform how we deal with stress and emotions. We often find ourselves turning to unhealthy habits, but there are so many better options out there. Therapy and counseling, for instance, provide a safe space to process our feelings. It's like having a personal guide to help navigate the complexities of our emotions. Talking to a professional can help us understand ourselves better and develop healthier responses to life's challenges. Support groups, like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, offer a sense of community that's incredibly powerful. Sharing experiences with others who understand what you're going through can be a lifeline. It's not just about overcoming addiction. It's about building connections and finding strength in vulnerability. These groups remind us that we're not alone in our struggles, and that shared journey can be incredibly healing. Then there's exercise. Hitting the gym or going for a run isn't just about physical health. It's a fantastic way to relieve stress. When we work out, our bodies release endorphins, those feel-good hormones that can lift our mood and clear our minds. Even a brisk walk can do wonders. It's a chance to step away from whatever is weighing us down and focus on something positive. Plus, it's a great way to connect with nature or just enjoy some fresh air. Meditation is another powerful tool. Taking just a few minutes each day to sit quietly and breathe can help center our thoughts and reduce anxiety. It's about being present, letting go of distractions, and finding peace within ourselves. Journaling can complement this practice beautifully. Writing down our thoughts and feelings can provide clarity and help us process what we're experiencing. It's a private space to explore our emotions without judgment. And let's not forget the importance of connecting with loved ones. Whether it's a phone call, a coffee date, or just a simple text, reaching out to friends and family can remind us of the support system we have. These connections can be grounding and reassuring, especially during tough times. Mindful breaks are essential too. Instead of reaching for that glass of wine or heading to a bar for happy hour, consider replacing those moments with activities that nourish your soul. Go for a walk, pick up a new hobby, or engage in social activities that don't involve substances. These alternatives can be just as enjoyable and far more beneficial in the long run. Incorporating these healthier coping strategies into our lives can create a profound shift in how we handle stress and emotions. It's about choosing paths that lead to healing and growth, rather than temporary relief. By embracing therapy, support groups, exercise, meditation, and meaningful connections, we can build a foundation for a healthier, happier life. Stress is a heavy burden we all carry. It's easy to think that alcohol or drugs can numb the pain, but that only deepens the wound. True healing starts with honesty and connection. If you or someone you care about is facing substance abuse, remember, you're not alone. Help is out there, and it takes real courage to break the cycle. Recovery is not just possible, it's a journey of self-discovery. Coping with stress can lead to growth and resilience, not destruction. Let's choose a path of healing together.